Hi again, everybody. I'm going to continue the audio test that I started earlier, this time with a noticeably less chaotic environment. I did leave a TV on playing a movie that's a lot more quiet than the Gumby movie that I played before, just so that you could get a sense for what kind of ambient noises would be in the way. But the idea here is that we want to do something that resembles less of kind of a crazy shooting situation, because I want to compare the Røde mono video mic to the Røde stereo video mic to give you a sense for the differences, one of which is pretty obvious, that the Røde mono video mic is actually a directional mic that's designed to isolate a speaker in a situation like this, whereas the stereo mic should be a lot better at capturing sort of ambient room noise and the like, because it actually does render a pretty amazing stereo image. Right now you're actually just listening to the camera, though. This is the native sound of the 5D's microphone in the situation that we're going to be shooting in. And we're going to go through looking at the two mics in this situation. This is the stereo mic, which is not on the camera at the moment. And it's you can notice right away that the fit and finish is really solid on this. It has a really cool old school look. It has these rubber bands that dampen vibration, which is really useful because the Canon 5D has a pretty large image stabilizing mechanism in its kit lens, at least I think it's the 24 to 105 millimeter L. But they both have that, but like one thing that's really noticeable is that the mono video mic is kind of chintzy by comparison in terms of how it's built. Okay, this is the Røde mono video mic. With a little bit of noise going on in the background, but with the level setting in the back flat. In other words, with no special filter going on. The Røde stereo video mic gives you two basic switches on the back. One that does 0 dB and a minus 10 dB to give you a little more headroom without getting a lot of sort of blown out high decibel action. And a low and a high pass filter, in other words a roll off that cuts out the lower end for hum and things like that. The mono video mic only gives you the high pass filter. It doesn't have a gain setting on it. Okay, now this is the Røde mono video mic. Which is a directional mic, like I said before. It's actually designed to handle a specific kind of target range without capturing a lot of the surrounding ambience, which is a good and a bad thing. I mean, I think it takes away some of the realism, but it makes the dialogue and such much more kind of intelligible. And that's important. And also, you know, like the other Røde mic, this one has kind of a network of rubber bands and things that keep it from sort of picking up a lot of the noise that the camera itself generates. For what it is, $150 mic, I would be surprised if you could really do a whole lot better. The sound quality to my audiophile ears is for what they are. Something just broke back there. That would be interesting to hear. Is actually from the samples that I've heard, pretty damn good. Now here we have the Røde stereo video mic, which is actually in the setting that's flat. So in other words, there's no roll-off set on here, and there's no gain cut. Like those are the two options that you have on that mic, as I described in the other video. This mic is really, in my experience, my limited experience so far, pretty amazing at stereo imaging. It even creates kind of really strange soundstage effects. Like if in the other video you might have noticed that my son Rocco yelled out to me, and that it actually came from off stage, off camera, to the point where you could sort of tell almost how far away he was. I mean, it's just that uncanny. The downside of all this, of course, is that it picks up all kinds of ambient things in the background. It might be less good for sort of isolating dialogue in the speaker or monologues from a particular target speaker. This might end up being a kind of a weird review, because I might end up having to sort of like say that you wouldn't really want to choose between the two, you know, that you'd actually have to have both, really, because they're so different in function. How you'd actually use them both in real sort of guerrilla warfare would be a different question, though. Now this is the video mic. I'm sorry, this is the stereo video mic again, but with the level flattener taken out. In other words, there's a high pass filter that's essentially like a low end roll off. That I think they put there just to basically get rid of sort of ambient hum and other sort of like low-level noises that interfere with speaker dialogue enough so that they didn't destroy the actual stereo effect. And while I'm doing this, I want to show you one thing. Just to give you an idea, this is the regular mono video mic, which is, you know, got a nice sort of, you know, design, I suppose, if you like that sort of thing. But the thing that's really different about it is, from the other mic, is that it's just a little bit less solidly built, which, you know, to my mind, it's kind of like, from a branding perspective, I don't know why they do that. I mean, my personal feeling is that even with drastically different price points, that you should see essentially a recognizable kind of quality across instruments, and you should also see sort of similarity in things like this tightening dial, which is much cheaper on this one and larger. Funny enough, it's metal on the other one, and it's not quite as large. So that things like that are like really distracting to me as somebody that really cares about sort of like brand integration, as it were. But like most people don't care about that. This one's got the advantage of being super light, you know, and I think if you're running around New York City, it's probably a good option to have on your 5D, which I think is an amazing film camera, actually, believe it or not.